that it's recording now.
Yep.
All right. All right. So, Brandon, thank you so much for coming on here and doing this with me.
Mm-hmm.
Really appreciate it. But please tell us a little something about yourself.
About myself, I'm the owner of GMF, Goodman Mainframe. It's a consultant and investment company. Me and my girlfriend run that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And what exactly does Goodman Mainframe do?
We started off when I was in college getting my master's degree. I was just helping out kids like get their interview skills up, soft skills with communication, since that was my major. A lot of people didn't know about eye connection and how to do even a handshake properly. So started off with that.
Oh man, that's cool. That's cool.
Appreciate
So yeah, no, so I see you I see you all the time on Instagram. And I see that you have like your own like style of teaching people how to figure out how to invest and stuff. Like, why is that like your passion right now? Like, why do you really enjoy doing that?
Financial freedom and financial independence are kind of a big thing that's definitely slipping through in certain communities. So I want to go ahead and raise awareness as much as I can.
Yeah, no, that's very true. That's very true. So I love that financial freedom, having the liberty to do what you want with your finances and not being constrained by anybody. That's cool. That's cool. So, I've been following you. You've been following me on Instagram for a long time now. It's a couple months now, and send a few likes each other's way. But I've noticed lately you've been posting about the 13th Amendment.
Yes. I saw that Juneteenth was coming up. So yeah, trying to raise that awareness there.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to go ahead and read for everyone what the 13th Amendment actually says. And then we could talk about it. Because honestly, like have you seen that movie on Netflix about the 13th Amendment?
No.
No, yeah, it's called 13th. You should go check it out. It's very good. So I think yeah, just go check it out. And then message me about it. But the 13th Amendment, it came in with Abraham Lincoln, right? And he did it in order to, free the slaves. I guess we'll say for now. But I'm just going to read it for everybody. And the 13th Amendment says, nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for a crime wherefore the parties shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. And so, at face value, when you first look at it, it sounds good, but clearly, I have problems with it too. But like, why do you have problems with the 13th Amendment?
That loophole right there is an extreme loophole. It's like one of those commercials where they're doing saying that the drug can help maybe your liver or maybe your heart, but next thing you know, your kidneys will fail and your back will fall out or something crazy like that.
Yeah, like what? So, like, which part are you talking about? Like, you're talking about that clause right there where it says "except as."
Yeah, except for servitude or incarceration like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, can you help explain that to people that might not understand why that's like a big problem?
Okay. For first off, the punishment of a crime is very simple to fall into. I mean, in 2019, it's as simple as just jaywalking and meeting an officer on the wrong day. So you could be incarcerated just for that. And next thing you know, now you're just a number in a system and you've lost certain rights. And that's not right at all, especially when it comes to like chain gangs and things like that, where they're actually working in the jail system, breaking rocks from big rocks to little rocks and just passing time for like 2 cents an hour. That's absurd in today. Or at any time, actually.
Yeah.
And the involuntary servitude kind of falls along that same lines, but that only affects certain groups because they incarcerate certain groups more than others.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it falls a lot on minorities such as Hispanics and Blacks, Indians, Native Americans, things like that nature here in America.
Yeah, no, my brother's a statistics guy, so he deals a lot with stats and stuff. And one thing that bugs us is like we see, because African Americans, we make up 13% of the population of the United States, which that's fine. But then when we make up over 40% of the incarcerated people, like clearly there's a problem there. Like that math ain't working out.
Right.
So, so like, so what you're saying to me is like people that incarcerated are pretty much slaves.
Yep. It comes down to it. Like they strip you of your name immediately. They give you a number, take away all your worldly possessions and everything like that.
Yeah. So what would you say should what are some ways we kind of bring awareness to this, like to the fact that obviously this is a terrible thing going on. Like how do we bring awareness to others to help them see that like there definitely needs to be more reform done?
Yeah. Contact the local government, local Congress, things like that of nature. Actually start writing them. Get signatures from neighbors, people behind you. Go to the Democratic parties, the Republican parties, and make your face known,
Yeah.
just as much as possible.
Yeah, no, that's true. And like you make a good point. Like we need to like tell the people who's putting people in jail, right? Because they're pretty essentially a slave to the state, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's like that's what kills me is that they become. But you mentioned something that's important. They're stripped of their identity, right? Like why is that so important that people need to understand that?
Because that's exactly what this whole amendment was supposed to give was slaves an identity rather than just be objectified and seen as an object. They were supposed to be able to grasp an identity and be free to pursue happiness and things like that. But as soon as that's stripped away and you're given a number, they tell you what time to sleep. They tell you what time to eat. They tell you how much you're going to make, specifically cents on a dollar. Like they tell you when to work if you get the privilege to even work.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's true. No, that's very good. See, I haven't even thought of that myself. Like, whenever I read the 13th Amendment, I always think like, man, like there's definitely that loophole there, but like slavery didn't get abolished, right? And like certain punishments, you need certain crimes, but to strip someone of their identity for, like you said, something jaywalking, it's not okay. Like I can't comprehend how that's like legitimate, right? And that's still happening today.
Yep.
That's crazy. But so the 13th Amendment. Do you know much about like the Emancipation Proclamation at all? Like and how that worked?
Is that the one from 1865?
Yeah.
Yeah. But you can go ahead and explain a little more. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the way it worked was like Abraham Lincoln wrote the Emancipation Proclamation, which emancipated all slaves. Like he proclaimed that all these slaves in these certain districts shall be free. But then the interesting part was it was like just these certain districts,
Right.
right? So it was like places in like West Virginia and Virginia and like farther south from there. But then it was only in certain areas. So like certain areas in North Carolina where slaves were already free, he didn't say it applied to that area. And so like only in certain areas did he try to free slaves in a sense. And that's when you have the whole like seed starting to leave because of that. And that's when and then you have the 13th Amendment, and then later on you get the Civil War, which pretty much started. But essentially, like the whole time, it was never really the goal was never really to free everyone, right?
Exactly.
Because everyone's not, like people. Like, do you know of anyone personally that have been affected by the amendment having to go to prison or anything like that?
Yes, I actually have a family member that is currently serving time.
Okay. Has this kind of driven you to look more into the 13th Amendment and have a passion for it?
Yeah, it's hard. Like actually just having a family member in there, and the only way to be able to contact and talk to this person is when they're given the privilege to make a call after working for cents on a dollar to put onto their commissary in their books. It's a hard concept to grasp, but it happens to so many people.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, let's say you had the ability to change some things. Like, what would you like to see changed? Like when it comes to the whole incarceration, like people being incarcerated.
To give them some of their rights, all of their rights, the right to at least some dignity, their identity back, able to contact family at will with no cost to a call. Like
Yeah.
that's intense.
Yeah. Now it's crazy to think like, yeah, I remember I get phone calls from family and it was like, do you like to receive this collect call? And they let you know it's going to cost us this much. It's like, dang, so So we take taxpayer money to help these guys, and then you have to pay to talk to these guys, and then they work, and then they don't get paid for talking to them, talking to your family.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's yeah, no, I'm not with that.
Exactly. And it's just swept under the rug. Like, oh,
Yeah,
well, that's just what happens when you're incarcerated. And that's due to this 13th Amendment exception.
yeah, no, absolutely. So, do you have anything else you'd like to add to the conversation? Anything you'd like to say on top of anything that you've already said?
Uh, just that we do need to raise awareness. And I appreciate what you're doing, raising awareness any way that you can. I really, really appreciate it, man. And we do need to come together. It's more than just a one community thing. It's actually spread across this whole nation. It's bad. It's extremely bad. And we need to actually educate people so that they can make some precise and knowledgeable, educated decisions themselves.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's very true. I like the fact you said it's more than just one community. It's affecting multiple communities.
Mm-hmm.
And we both know that like no matter what community you're in, like, all we want is liberty, right?
Exactly.
You have your rights, hold on to those rights, and those shouldn't be stripped away from you to the point to where you're a slave. You're not a human being. You're just
Exactly.
like you said, nothing. All right. Well, Brandon, thank you so much for taking your time out of your day to talk to me. I really appreciate it.
Hey, appreciate you, man.
Hey, not a problem. But hey, if you ever want to come on here and talk again about anything, you let me know, and I'll be happy to chat with you.
Awesome. Will do, man. Thanks.
All right. Yeah. Take care, man.
Have a good one.
Yeah, you too.